Hello! Let's talk today about the past events and the continuous actions in the past. That is, the past simple and the past continuous tense. What did you do last weekend? Okay, I'll start. I visited my brother in London last weekend. We were talking when his wife came home. His wife cooked a wonderful dinner at 8 o'clock in the evening. We were having dinner when we decided to go to the London I4D. Did you go there? Okay, we use two principal past tenses when talking about the past: the past simple and the past continuous. The tenses are quite different. Listen, read, and follow the rules. Use the past simple to talk about an event which happened at some point in time in the past. Example: I visited my brother in London last weekend. She cooked a wonderful dinner at 8 o'clock in the evening. The past continuous is usually used when you want to emphasize the continuity of the action. They were talking when she arrived. When we were having dinner, we decided to go to the London I4D. The past continuous is also used to express what was happening at a precise moment in the past. I was attending my English class at 2:30 yesterday afternoon. Alice was preparing a PowerPoint project at 6 yesterday evening. The past simple form: I, you, he, she, we, they decided to go to the London Eye. I, you, he, she, we, they went to the London Eye in the evening. Negative form: I, you, he, she, we, they didn't go to London last weekend. Question form: Why did you go to London last weekend? Did you go to London last weekend? Did you get the idea? Okay, listen, read, and repeat the rhyme about regular and irregular verbs. Our friend ED doesn't speak except after T. Started, wanted, planted, ED. Our friend ED doesn't speak except after T. Played, listened, watched, ED. Our friend ED has some friends who don't fit in. Go, went, buy, bought, put, think, thought. What can we do? Learn those verbs. Excellent! I'm sure you follow along the rule. Now, the past continuous tense. Form: be, verb, ing. I was, you were, he was, she was, we were, you were. They were watching TV when I arrived. Negative: be, not, verb, ing. I wasn't, you weren't, he wasn't, she wasn't, we weren't, you weren't, They weren't. They were not working when he came into the room. Questions. Question word, be, subject, verb, ing. What were you doing at 7 o'clock? What was he doing at 7 o'clock? Well, grammar rules give us the ground to communicate clearly and effectively. Now it's time to play the mix and match game. Read the parts of the sentences and match them. They arrived early while I was still sleeping. Paul cooked dinner while we were having tea in the garden. The doorbell rang while I was watching the cartoons. She had a car accident because she was driving too fast. We took a lot of photos while the bride was standing outside the church. Well done. Now it's time to train your brain. You will see the 2 tense boxes, read the sentences, and match them to the correct box. Past simple. She wrote 6 poems. Last night, Mike cooked dinner. They took a lot of pictures. Past continuous. I was sleeping. We were having a drink. I was watching TV. He was driving too fast. Excellent! I'm sure you understood the past simple, past continuous tense grammar correctly. Look, here is a story about Mike. Think of a correct verb form to complete the story that happened to him last month. Mike lived in the 4th floor flat last month. It was about 2 o'clock and he was sleeping. Suddenly, he woke up. He heard a dog barking outside the window. He got up and looked out. It was very dark, but he could see that someone was climbing up a ladder towards his bedroom window. He quickly phoned the police. He heard a knock on the window and looked up. There was his flatmate. He was waving and shouting, "Let me in! I've forgotten my keys." Okay, I hope you found that useful, and I'll see you again. Let's finish our class with a song. Goodbye and good luck.
This is the tale of Mr. Morton. Mr. Morton is who? He is the subject of our tale, and the predicate tells what Mr. Morton must do. Mr. Morton walked down the street. Mr. Morton walked. Mr. Morton talked to his cat. Mr. Morton talked. Hello, cat. You look good. Mr. Morton was lonely. Mr. Morton was. Mr. Morton is the subject of the sentence, and what the predicate says he does. Mr. Morton knew just one girl. Mr. Morton knew. Mr. Morton grew flowers for Pearl. Mr. Morton grew. Mr. Morton was very shy. Mr. Morton was. Mr. Morton is the subject of the sentence, and what the predicate says he does. The subject is a noun. That's a person, place, or thing. It's who or what the sentence is about. And the predicate is the verb. That's the action word that gets this subject up and out. Mr. Morton wrote Pearl a poem. Mr. Morton wrote. Pearl replied in the afternoon. Pearl replied by a note. Mr. Morton was very nervous. Mr. Morton was. Mr. Morton is the subject of the sentence, and what the predicate says he does. The cat stretched, the sun beat down, a neighbor chased his kid. Come here, kid, come on. Each sentence is completed when you know what the subject did. Mr. Morton knocked on her door. Mr. Morton knocked. Mr. Morton sat on her porch. Yes, he just sat there and rocked. Mr. Morton was a nervous man. When she opened up the door, he ran. Mr. Morton climbed up his stairs. Mr. Morton climbed. Mr. Morton rhymed pretty words. Mr. Morton rhymed. Mr. Morton was lonely. Mr. Morton was, until Pearl showed up with a single rose. Who says women can't propose? Now Mr. Morton is happy, and Pearl and the cat are too. They're the subject of the sentence, and what the predicate says, hey!